You can use beats not just to describe action, but also to describe ideas and processes. Each statement poses a concept and demands a response. Each response, in turn, demands another response. Back and forth they go. This is what the ancient Greeks called dialectics. By this they meant the interaction of opposites. There was a thesis, which was met by an opposition called the antithesis, and after these two clash, it produced a synthesis, a resolution of the conflict with a new, better idea. Think of ideas as characters. With each moment, they test each other, they oppose each other. Each side forces the other to address something that they otherwise would not address. Okay, let's consider a few examples of dialectics from politics and public policy. Political debates often synthesize approaches from the right and the left. The demand for comprehensive health care failed on its own, but spurred market-based responses from the right. And the two were synthesized in Massachusetts under Mitt Romney and in the U.S. under Barack Obama. The 1960s Cultural Revolution created a conservative backlash, but later a new synthesis that embraced old-fashioned family values, but also embraced gays, immigrants, dreamers, and non-traditional families and communities. In business, the old consensus for untrammeled market economics, with an emphasis on companies serving shareholders, was challenged by a new generation concerned about the environment, consumer rights, workplace conditions, and more. They have produced a synthesis on broader values in the corporation, including the triple bottom line, shareholder activism, new markets, and a transformed workplace. For every set of beliefs in politics, culture, business, but also education, science, media, and more, there is an opposing set of beliefs. These beliefs are dynamic. They are bound to clash. And when they do, they will produce something new, something from the other competing forces. Anytime you need to present different sides of a topic dynamically, use beats. Show how twos clash and produce a different option. Now it's your turn. Was Hegel right? Does history turn on the dialectical movement from thesis to antithesis to synthesis? Take a story you know well and list all the clashes of opposites and how these clashes created new opportunities for the story's characters. Think of description as a series of observations with a back and forth between different perspectives. Take a look at this passage from Fatima Mernissi's memoir, which describes her childhood growing up in a harem in Morocco in the 1940s and 50s. Take a listen to a short passage from this book. You could not get in our house except by passing through the main gate controlled by Ahmed, the doorkeeper. But you could get out a second way by using the roof-level terrace. You could jump from our terrace to the neighbors next door and then go out to the street through their door. Officially, our terrace key was kept in Lala Mani's possession, with Ahmed turning off the lights to the stairs after sunset. But because the terrace was constantly being used for all kinds of domestic activities during the day, from retrieving olives that were stored in big jars up there to washing and drying clothes, the key was often left with Aunt Habiba, who lived in the room right next to the terrace. See how the beats shift back and forth from positive to negative values. These shifts create a sense of intrigue and suspense. We start off with access being restricted, that's a negative, then go to there's a second way, that's a positive. But, a negative, it's a lot of work. Then we move to the keeper of the key. Here's a guy with the answer, that's a positive. But there's a second keeper of the key because of other complications. When you move back and forth, you give a scene dynamism. You create suspense. You put the reader right in the middle of a great drama. Which side will prevail? Now it's your turn. Think of a typical journey of your life, a commute, a shopping trip, a visit with a friend, or a carpooling trip. Describe that journey in detail. Note the moments when the journey could veer off in a different direction, and what might happen if it did. For each moment, give either a positive or a negative value. Alternate your moments with positive and negative values. Raise a possibility and then talk about how it might be dashed. Raise a new possibility and then how that might be dashed. Back and forth, positive to negative, will drive your story forward.